Let me show you a Meteora strategy that works with the MACD, RSI, and could potentially net some gains within minutes. Let's dive in. So here we are, we're having a look at Bitcoin. I haven't marked out anything, and all I'm looking at is that it uptrended and then it's downtrended. But I've got a couple of different indicators on here, and we've just flicked green on the MACD. So what I want to do is I've gone and got some Bitcoin, I've claimed some fees, I'm going to add a position, and I'm just going to put it straight in here, don't even know what that's worth. I'm going to go with a bid ask, and I'm going to have some upside of like 40% just to quickly add it so I start to generate, ideally, some fees. We'll let this load. Looks like that's not going to go through because there's too much slippage. Retry. No. Okay. I'm going to come up here. I'm just going to change this setting here to 5% slippage just because the price is coming very, very quickly. So let's try it now and see if this transaction can go in. Great. We've added this money in here, and my goal is to sell at a higher price, and I'll tell you why. So we've got different indicators here, and there's another one that I often use, but it's not here. Just type in volume. Volume, profile, visible range, give that a star, put that on. This shows where the vast majority of the volume is happening on the particular chart that you're looking at. Now, the MACD, we can cover this in more detail in another video, but we've just seen it cross. So we're starting to see more buys than sells. It has a right probability of 100%. So I shouldn't even be in this, to be honest. I don't even know why it says that, but whatever. 75K in 5 minutes, 1 million in 1 hour. So it's decent. This is the meme coin life. You're going to play with these. You kind of got to get in and got to get out. And if you miss out on life-changing money, that happens once in every 200 tokens or that you made DLMM. So you don't have to worry too much, in my opinion. It's just, it is what it is. You can't really marry Bitcoin unless it's the right partner for you. Don't marry your bags, peeps. So we've seen down here that the RSI got pretty low, 30. And typically, we can backtest this, but typically, when everything aligns, and we'd normally put in some sort of range as well, but when things align, we'll often see a pump up, right? There's more sell pressure, then it starts being more buy pressure. It goes with momentum, especially if RSI is factored in as well. So quite often, like this would be an RSI of 16, that would have been a good time to buy if all the other things aligned. In the end, it went down lower. The RSI wasn't lower, but we could have bought at this point and stuck on, and that's a 27% gain. You don't want to get too greedy, or not financial advice, but whatever. You can, of course, wait till it flashes red if you want to and just work on more fees, but that's still 13%. We'll zoom in a little bit and we'll have a look. This does not happen every time. Look at a chart, see if it's in a range, backtest it. If it works 70% of the time, it's going to be profitable. You're going to have to exit at break even or exit like a 5% loss sometimes. But if you make 5 to 10% plus fees 10 times in, say, 3 hours, that's decent. If you lose a couple, it's just part of learning. This one here, okay, so that worked out. Then we flash green again. We'll zoom in a little bit more on the charts, just so it's a bit more obvious. So flash green at this stage here, and this did not work out. It came on down, and then it flashed green again. You would have exited. You would have, basically, you bought here, and you would have lost 8%, unfortunately. Or you may have a stop loss where, you know, if it goes down 5%, you exit it. Then you would have come in again, somewhere around this portion, because you're not going to necessarily catch that one candle, and you're up 11%. And then it kept on going, and I say you're up 11%, but you're selling each bin, and you've probably got something set all the way up to 30%, and then when it starts to cross over, well, I'll show you what we're doing. you've made a maximum of 20%, but you would have been selling along the way. So maybe overall you've made 8%, 10%. And even if you sell here, it's at 13%. Then we get this tiny little pump here, which was still worthwhile. And then it flicked red and we would have broken even, maybe made 1%, made a small amount of trading fees. Now we flash green here, down here, RSI came low. It went a little bit lower. We could have bought at that stage and we would have been fine, but it's good if everything kind of aligns. And then we would have missed the first candle. So thus far, we're up maybe 6%. We're starting to generate some fees as we sell our token. And of course, we have to keep an eye on this. If we're getting lots more net buys, fantastic. If there's too many net sells, not so fantastic. And you also have to keep in mind, at what RSI does it normally top out at. So we're noticing that it has some pretty high RSI levels, but sometimes it tops out lower. Either way, we're going to leave it to run for a few minutes, but I'm just going to show you how it's actually going here. So thus far, we've been selling at a small amount of profit. We don't have much in here. We've got $80. We can actually withdraw the SOL. So as we make the profit, we can withdraw the SOL, because if it goes lower, well, we've still got some profit. The other thing to keep in mind is when I initially put this liquidity in, I put it in such a wide range because I just wanted to do the tutorial. But I wouldn't be so greedy necessarily. I would be like, all right, I want to get 12%, something like that. So we can actually go and withdraw all of this liquidity here, withdraw all that Bitcoin, take it out, and then we can redeploy it in this range to actually just sell. Back to the bid ask, or we can go with spot if we want maybe more fees, but not as much upside. We can go max here, and we're putting it back down here again. Some of it still comes into this range, of course, but we're putting more of it into this area. If we don't want it here, then we'll just have to withdraw it and just open a new strategy. Now let me show you withdrawing the SOL. So we'll click on withdraw, and we're going to move this bin down all the way down here until it says 0 Bitcoin, but just a little bit of SOL, and we'll withdraw that liquidity. Now you do have to be mindful we're getting this amount, which is fine. We're paying 3 cents as a transaction fee, which is fine. But if you start trying to do this with $20 worth of liquidity and you're paying 50 cents on a transaction fee because the network's just pumping, then that's not going to make you money, right? So you just have to be mindful of those sort of things. Typically, how I have my fees, I have it set up like this: mixed, turbo, or ultra, and a max cap of around about 0.005 SOL. But it's a max cap. If they start to fail, then I'll change it to exact fee, and I'd probably bring this down to like this amount, 82 cents. Could be higher though, but generally I go max cap. So I'm willing to spend up to around $1 per transaction to get my transaction through, which is very important in trading. Let's go back to the Bitcoin chart. At this stage, you've got everything set up. This is probably a good idea for you to kind of zoom out and work out where are your ranges. There's overall a massive range here, and we're miles away from it. We've got something up here, like hairish is kind of our top, and I'm guessing we've got some sort of support here. So we've got resistance here and support here, and of course, this is a brand new token. It can go through resistance. It literally says up here 100% rug probability. So I shouldn't even be showing you this one. I missed that when I was looking at it initially. And now the difference between here and here is 100%, and the difference down like this is 55%. It's not exactly the best range that I'm playing with. I'm just pointing out that the MACD, the RSI, everything kind of aligning can give you a little bit of a pump. Let's just work out what it has pumped approximately since the time when we would have been able to enter. We've made maybe 9%, and we can just go into a new position and we could sell it all in 1 or 2 bins, or even just 1 bin. At this price right now, selling it for what we think will be a gain. That's if we want to exit a position very, very quickly. And of course, we are relying on it to pump up one little bit more, and it doesn't always do that. But let's have a look at our Bitcoin. One bin, most of it's SOL, small amount in fees, but we're just selling it. This means that instead of going to dupe, which are goated, and I love dupe so much, but instead of going to dupe and putting through a transaction and paying the liquidity provider fee, we're putting it in here. The transaction is still happening if we're in the right bin, and we're actually earning the swap fee. And at this stage, we withdraw, we close the position, and we approve, and we get our SOL, and we get a small amount in actual fees. So you can see if you use that strategy, that can work out for you, even if prices are down or if the range is going down, as long as you get those little wee pumps, and you can't be too greedy. You can't be expecting 100% gains, or to stay in a position for a whole length of time. You have to kind of get in and get out. Also, if you're going to do it like that, you can still have upside. This has upside. It's still selling, not much, of course, $25 worth, but it's still selling if it continued to actually pump. But we can see that our RSI is starting to go a little bit too high, and it's already starting to break down with me just selling a small amount of funds. So the charts are showing that it's kind of losing steam. It is in a downtrend after all, and it is called Bitcoin, and it does have a rug probability of 100%. So this is probably something you don't want to play with too long. Final reminder here, when you're in a position like this, you may want to go and withdraw the SOL, unless you want to accumulate more as it comes down. Withdraw the SOL. It's not very much SOL, $4 worth, but you're getting it out, and you can go and use it in the next DLMM. That's all for this video. Make sure you subscribe and check out these other videos here on tips and tricks with Meteora. Meteora is goated. Don't fade it. Please, please, please don't fade it.